Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc.
The Dominica government gives the international community a tongue lashing for its demands on the region. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Monday, January 21st. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt on Monday blasted the international community over its unilateral demands for tightening measures within the international financial services sector in the region. And he's again called for a united CARICOM approach on the matter. Speaking in Parliament on the amendments to various pieces of legislation, including the Offshore Banking Amendment Act 2019, as called for by the European Union, Skerritt said many parliaments in the Caribbean are now rushing to meet the end-of-month deadline or face being blacklisted. And he said even as countries are giving assurances that they intend to meet the new measures, the goalposts are being changed after the original targets are met. Skerritt said the Caribbean must respond, and there's also need for national unity in dealing with the matter.
The Caribbean institutions need to inform themselves about these issues and stand in defense of our sovereignty, the little that we have or allowed to exercise of it, because no one knows what else. No one knows what else. They may impose on you, and what they impose on you may require a constitutional amendment, which will require a referendum. And they will say, well, you know, forget the referendum, you have to go to Parliament and amend it. Find a way to amend it. And therefore, it's important on these issues, we wrap ourselves from head to toe for a national flag.
Skerritt described the new measures as an external shock that will have an impact on countries' ability to attract investment. He accused the international community of trying to get in the way of Caribbean nations wooing investors.
Want us to stop granting concessions to investors, local and foreign. But you go to their jurisdictions, they have 20-year tax breaks, 30-year tax breaks, also concessions to investors in the country. But they're telling us that we should not give, and you know, they started first, Mr. Deputy Speaker, they started first by making it a fiscal issue. A fiscal issue. By saying that you are denying yourself revenue by giving this concession. And now they have made it a political issue. Because they couldn't get their way through the fiscal arguments, they have gone through the route of political route, and then if you don't do it, then you're in trouble.
Skerritt also said he was at a loss as to how developed countries could believe small countries like Dominica could hurt them. But the Dominican leader said that while he has an ideological objection to the demands being made, he could not allow his personal position to harm the entire country and therefore had to bring the legislative amendments to Parliament. Guyana's main opposition People's Progressive Party, the PPP, has selected former Housing Minister Irfan Ali as its presidential candidate for the next general elections, which could be held early, depending on what the courts say. But his selection has been met with mixed reaction from party supporters. Some have taken to social media to express concern and criticize the party's Central Committee pick of Ali, who is currently facing 19 fraud-related charges. The High Court recently put the charges against him on hold as he attempts to get them dismissed. Speaking with reporters hours after his election, Ali said he was extremely humbled by the party's decision. He said it showed that the PPP believes in youth and experience.
I'm something that I will take very seriously, that I take very seriously. And I think that the approach by the People's Progressive Party has always been a team approach. All my other comrades and colleagues who contested for the post of presidential candidate has committed to working towards the common agenda, the common goal, and as a team for the People's Progressive Party. This speaks to the fact that the party is united, that we are united and strong, and we are ready to confront the challenges that face us, ensuring that the People's Progressive Party is returned to government for the service of all Guyanese.
But everyone is not as excited as Ali is about the decision. Alexei Ramatar, who is the son of former president and PPP executive member Donald Ramatar, declared on his Facebook page that the party is, quote, really stupid. On the page of former Education Minister Priya Manik Chand, one supporter wrote that he was a bad choice. Another wrote, quote, disgusting, wrong pick for president, but perfect for Barrett Pett. And on the PPP's own Facebook page, the criticism outweighed the congratulations. The party is preparing for the possibility of early elections following a successful no-confidence motion against the David Granger administration. The outcome of the motion is being challenged in the courts. A Trinidadian man who featured prominently in misconduct allegations made against the Twin Island Republic's Chief Justice, Ivor Archie, has been granted humanitarian protection in the United Kingdom. Dillian Johnson had been seeking asylum, but UK authorities said he did not qualify because he failed to prove his claim of persecution. Allegations surfaced in 2017 that the Chief Justice tried to influence Supreme Court justices to change their personal state-provided security in favor of a private security company that employed Johnson as a consultant. Johnson, who was described as Archie's close friend, is a convicted felon. He was shot outside his home in December of the same year the allegations against Archie were made, and he fled to the UK later that month, saying that his life was in danger. In denying asylum but granting humanitarian protection, the UK said there was a reasonable degree of likelihood that Johnson would face a real risk of serious harm if returned to Trinidad and Tobago. CNC3's Mark Bassant has the details.
Dillian Johnson, who fled the country in December 2017 after he was shot at his Gasparilla home, claiming that he was a victim of a targeted hit, has been granted humanitarian protection in the United Kingdom. Johnson shot into the limelight following allegations regarding his friendship with Chief Justice Ivor Archie. He reacted to the decision via email saying he felt vindicated. Johnson received the news from his lawyers Sarah Latimer and Michael McGarvey after the United Kingdom Home Office of Visas and Immigration weighed his case and sent the decision to his lawyers via email and hard copy, along with a 38-page judgment. The email read, "The Home Office has sent a positive decision to your legal team. You have been granted humanitarian protection." Attached was a link to a booklet outlining the Home Office's conditions on humanitarian protection. Under the subheading Standard of Proof, it stated, humanitarian protection must be granted where there are substantial grounds for believing that there's a real risk of serious harm. In considering whether there are such grounds, the standard of proof to be applied is the same as applies in asylum. That is, a reasonable degree of likelihood that the person would face a real risk on return to their country of origin. When an individual is granted humanitarian protection, they are eligible to be granted a British passport within a few weeks with no travel restrictions, unlike someone who is granted refugee status. Johnson's mother reacted to the decision, saying, "I think it is more than deserving and I wish him all the best." Peter Tashel, a human rights campaigner who had been outspoken about Johnson's case, told Guardian Media Limited via phone, Dillian had a very strong case for asylum because he was at serious risk of being killed if he got back to Trinidad and Tobago. I am delighted that the Home Office granted him humanitarian protection, and it is a tragedy he had to leave his home country. Tatchell said he hoped the witnesses in Johnson's matter would be protected and his perpetrators brought to justice.
Staying in Port of Spain, an attorney has written to the United Nations Human Rights Council requesting urgent action to address what he says are ongoing human rights abuses and violations experienced by refugees in Trinidad and Tobago. More in this TTT News report.
In his letter to the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, dated January 19th, Attorney Dr. Emu Crown said despite being a signatory to the 1951 Convention and the 1967 Protocol, Trinidad and Tobago has not developed domestic legislation to deal with refugees. He said this has evidently led to the state practice of not recognizing any refugee rights. He also took note that the Attorney General, Faris Al-Rawi, is on record as stating that Trinidad and Tobago has no refugee laws and that the Minister of National Security has characterized its obligations as being moral ones as opposed to legal ones. The attorney believes the government's position that there are no refugee laws is patently false and a violation of its international law obligations at the very least. He said it is because of this that refugees are evidently subject to abuse, rape, exploitation, and human trafficking. Dr. Crown said the government is failing to acknowledge the corresponding economic, social, and cultural benefit that such persons may have on the economy. He said the government is playing politics with the basic human rights of refugees, and it is wrong.
Coming up in Caribbean Newsline, health officials in Guyana probe cancer deaths. The details after the break.
Barbados, renowned for its pristine beachfront and fantastic weather, continues to leave quite an impression on newcomers to the island and returning visitors. The Caribbean island, quite popular as a vacation hotspot, is not only beautiful due to its natural aesthetics. The island of Barbados continues to grow in popularity because of unique connections developed with our people, our culture. We can't wait to welcome you.
Follow your heart to St. Kitts and make plans to join us at the 23rd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival. 5 days of world-class entertainment from Wednesday, June 26th to Sunday, June 30th, 2019. See Buju Banton live as he makes his epic return to St. Kitts. Also, French Montana and Davido. Popcorn and the legendary Smokey Robinson. This is just the first wave of announcements. Many more acts to come. For more information, log on to stkitsmusicfestival.com. The St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other.
Continuing in Guyana, the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation has appealed to the public to resist the urge to speculate as it announced an investigation following the deaths of at least 2 child cancer patients who were administered a particular medication. In a statement, the hospital's administration said the investigation involves the interviewing of all medical persons directly involved, as well as an assessment of the medication in question, which it did not name. The hospital said it has suspended the use of the drug. It says it's working closely with all stakeholders, including the Ministry of Public Health, the Pan American Health Organization, World Health Organization, and other agencies to improve its services. The hospital expressed condolences to the parents of the deceased cancer patients and promised to provide full answers upon completion of the investigation. The Caribbean continues to monitor dengue fever and swine flu, and a strategic health plan is developed for adolescents. That's coming up in this week's Newsline Health.
Caribbean countries are once again being advised to take every precaution against dengue fever. This after the Caribbean Public Health Agency declared a regional outbreak earlier this month. The situation is most worrying in Jamaica, where the disease has claimed 5 lives so far this year. And Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says to date there have been 79 suspected and presumed confirmed cases.
The numbers so far this year are not clear enough in terms of a trend or pattern to predict that we will not maintain outbreak status at the end of the month. But it is encouraging based on what we have seen in some of the parishes.
The parish of St. Anne has increased its vector control activities since news of the outbreak. The senior public health inspector for the parish, Mark Miller, says there have been at least 53 suspected cases in the area so far.
Targeting the key premises such as tire shops, garages, and key institutions, school, public areas, and premises in general. We're also targeting this area because of the different factors that facilitate mass breeding in this area. Some of the areas we have like honeycomb rocks, we have storage for water. So we are working with the community members.
The region is also raising concerns about H1N1 or swine flu after 3 people died from the disease in Trinidad recently. H1N1 is an influenza virus that is transmitted from birds to pigs. People most vulnerable to the disease include children and citizens over 65. Guyana's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Shamdeo Prasad, offers some advice on protecting against the disease.
That 2 things are important. 1, hand washing. So we are recommending for everyone, wash your hands as often as you can. Even if you travel, you go to town, you go to the airport or anywhere else, wash your hands as frequently. We've been trying to encourage the staff at the facilities to ensure that they can also sanitize, Second thing is to cover cough. So we are ensuring that persons understand the etiquettes of coughing, to make sure that you use a paper towel or something, cough into that. If you do have to bring up phlegm, you dispose of it carefully in a approved garbage properly, don't spit about and those kinds of things.
Health officials in Belize are developing a strategic health plan for the country's teens. They are partnering with the Ministries of Education and Human Development on a program to target the country's 88,000 adolescents.
The plan is focusing on ensuring that adolescents have their identity documented, like having a social security card that will help us to track the services that we provide to them. We are aiming at improving the access to education. We are looking towards improving the quality of the health services, expansion of coverage, working from the community, with the community in all aspects.
The strategic health plan will be extended to 2030 to meet the Sustainable Development Goals. Mary-Claire Williams, Newsline Health.
Ahead in Newsline Sport, a Cricket West Indies director could face the organization's ethics committee. We'll tell you why when we return.
Follow your heart to St. Kitts and make plans to join us at the 23rd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival. 5 days of world-class entertainment from Wednesday, June 26th to Sunday, June 30th, 2019. See Butcher Banton live as he makes his epic return to St. Kitts. Also, French Montana and Davido. Popcorn and the legendary Smokey Robinson. This is just the first wave of announcements. Many more acts to come. For more information, log on to StKittsMusicFestival.com. The St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other.
Barbados, Get ready for the 5th Fish and Dragon Festival. This spectacle comes off at the Garfield Sobers Gymnasium on Wednesday, January the 23rd at 5 p.m. It features at 7:30 p.m. the charming Beijing Taijin Hubei Arts Group from China. Additional performances include Calypso Monarch Mr. Blood, singer Kelly Cadogan, the Pineless Creative Workshop, traditional Chinese land dance and drumming, martial arts displays, Chinese interactive language and video rooms, traditional Beijing and Chinese food and delicacies, and lots more. That's the 5th Fish and Dragon Festival, and it's free.
I'm talking about putting on my glasses. Fixing, I'm grabbing my keys, and I'm leaving. Okay, so I'm ready to leave. What the hell? Dude, I've been here 45 minutes already, and I mean, you're just now coming in?
Outspoken Cricket West Indies director Enoch Lewis could find himself in trouble with the regional body for his recent criticism of the appointment of Richard Pybus as senior men's team head coach. While not mentioning Lewis by name, CWI said in a statement late Friday that the charges leveled by the objecting board director would be referred to the Ethics Committee for review. Pybus has been appointed on an interim basis with a permanent head coach to be found by September. Lewis had publicly slammed the appointment, accusing CWI President Dave Cameron of hand-picking the Englishman and ignoring the best practices of transparency, fairness, and due process. But CWI said it was standing by its decision, pointing out that the decision was made with the support of more than two-thirds of its board. Pybus never applied for the Windies head coach position and was not among the 11 coaches shortlisted by Director of Cricket Jimmy Adams last September to fill the post. Over to action in the regional four-day competition. Jason Peters struck Test leg spinner Devendra Bishu over mid-wicket for 6 to earn Leeward Islands Hurricanes a dramatic 2-wicket win on Sunday and inflict leaders Guyana Jaguars with their first defeat in the tournament in nearly 2 years. Resuming the day on 32 for 1 in pursuit of 291 for victory at the National Stadium in Guyana, Hurricanes looked on course to pull off a comfortable victory, especially after opener Monson Hodge stroked a superb 127. Resuming from his overnight 17, the 31-year-old stroked 14 fours in an innings spanning 320 deliveries and just shy of 7 hours. Crucially, he posted 153 for the second wicket, with the classy Kesey Carter, who carved out a quality 69 after starting the day on 3. Hodge also put on 42 for the fourth wicket with Terence Ward and an invaluable 59 for the sixth with Peters. The right-handed Hodge, who made a magnificent 158 against Trinidad and Tobago Red Force 2 weeks ago in Aruba, carried his tally for the season to 470 runs at an average of 67. Meanwhile, Chadwick Walton and Brandon King notched half-centuries as Jamaica Scorpions finally broke their losing streak with a convincing 6-wicket victory over Windward Islands Hurricanes on the final day of their 5th encounter on Sunday as well. Asked to chase 212 at the Grenada National Stadium, Scorpions produced a measured run chase to pull off a comfortable win in the end, with Walton top scoring with 79 and Brandon King getting 56. Scorpions started the day well when they finished off the Volcanoes innings with no addition to the overnight total of 198. Walton and King then joined forces to rescue the innings, posting their second 100-run stand of the contest with a third-wicket partnership of 102. Walton, who struck 125 in the first innings, faced 135 balls in 2 3/4 hours and counted 6 fours, while King, who made 52 in the first innings, hit a 4 and a pair of 6s in an innings lasting 141 deliveries and 157 minutes. Barbadian all-rounder Kenroy Williams put on the finishing touches with an unbeaten 36, handing Scorpions their first win of the regional 4-day championship in 4 outings. And Barbados Pride expectedly cruised to an easy victory over Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, defeating them by 7 wickets at the Brian Lara Cricket Stadium on Saturday. having started the day in full control of the match by restricting the Red Force to 62 for 6 at the end of the second day's play. Pride skittled up the home side for just 103, with medium pacer Shamar Springer claiming 3 of the 4 wickets to fall. Needing just 58 runs for victory after securing a 45-run first innings lead, the visitors then romped to an easy win, finishing on 58 for 3 in 17 overs. Still in cricket, former West Indies pacer Mervyn Dillon is the new assistant coach for Trinidad and Tobago Red Force. TV6's Vinod Narawani tells us more.
He's taken 131 wickets from 38 test matches and even had some match-winning performances for the Windies. And his love for cricket still has him involved in the game. Mervyn Dillon was appointed as assistant coach of Team Red Force recently, and he's looking forward to the challenge.
Again, I suppose it's no different to when I played. It's representing my country, so it's something that I actually look forward to. It's a couple of days since I started, so it's just to get in, with Kello. Kello has gone really well over the years, so I look forward to learning from him and look forward to running around with some of the guys that I actually played with. So Ramdin and Riyad and these guys are still around, so I'm looking forward to that.
Dillon met with TTCB President Azim Basrat, and following a healthy discussion, the former Windies pacer was appointed. So how enjoyable is it for the 44-year-old to be holding the red cherry and bowling to the batsmen in the nets during training sessions?
Like I said, I still enjoy it. I'm still fit enough to do it. So, we've always had, when I played, we've always had these little competing, in the nets and stuff. So Ramdin obviously thinks I can't get him out anymore. So that was kind of the plan, try to get him out. But I didn't. But, it's always still enjoyable, and I still enjoy running around.
Dillon, who also took 130 ODI scalps, has kept his goals quite simple with Trinidad and Tobago.
Most people talk about winning. For me, it's a kind of individual to see my players grow and improve. And I think once I take care of that, I think the results will take care of itself.
Dillon played his last game for the Windies in January 2005, the match being an ODI against Australia in Adelaide.
And that's the sport. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc.
Barbados, renowned for its pristine beachfront and fantastic weather, continues to leave quite an impression on newcomers to the island and returning visitors. The Caribbean island, quite popular as a vacation hotspot, is not only beautiful due to its natural aesthetics. The island of Barbados continues to grow in popularity because of unique connections developed with our people, our culture. We can't wait to welcome you.
Follow your heart to St. Kitts and make plans to join us at the 23rd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival. 5 days of world-class entertainment from Wednesday, June 26th to Sunday, June 30th, 2019. See Buju Banton live as he makes his epic return to St. Kitts. Also, French Montana and Davido. Popcorn and the legendary Smokey Robinson. This is just the first wave of announcements. Many more acts to come. For more information, log on to StKittsMusicFestival.com. The St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other.
Again, the major developments of this day: the Dominica government blasts the international community over its unilateral demands for tightening measures in the international financial services sector in the region. And in sport, outspoken Cricket West Indies director Enoch Lewis could be hauled before the body's ethics committee over his criticism of the appointment of Richard Pybus as senior men's team head coach. And that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, subscribe to canonnews.com. For more of our programming, log on to caribvision.tv and check out our YouTube channel. We'll be back here again tomorrow, but from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and have yourselves a good night.